All right, you guys, happy Friday. Whoop, whoop. It's almost 3-day weekend. Hope you're excited because I am to get some sleep. So today, though, go ahead and make sure you got your book, Tears of Tiger, and you need your handout, which you guys will have your checklist of what you need to do as well today. So there are 10 questions you guys are going to answer as we read, and it is divided by the chapters themselves. We do have a good chunk that we're going to read today, okay? So bear with me. We got to finish this book before the semester ends, so we're going to start cruising through this thing, all right? So turn to page 41. All right, so remember yesterday we read about the big basketball game that they won. Boop, boop. So today we're going to kick off with a new character that we're learning about, which is the psychologist that Andy is going to. So yesterday a lot of you talked about like if you dealt with somebody that you knew that has passed away or you were dealing with a lot emotionally, like go see a therapist. So we know he's going to AA meetings for alcoholism, right, and getting that help and support because he got a DUI while driving. And so he also has been going to a psychologist. So this is actually his very first visit. Okay, so on page 41, the title is How Do I Feel? It says Andy's first visit to the psychologist, December 10th. So do you remember when the accident happened? Think far. How far is this now at this point? The accident happened, what, at the beginning of November, right? November 7th? All right, so this is about a solid month later. Now he's finally going to a psychologist to talk it out. All right? You guys also have on your handout 5 questions to answer with this. So at this point, I'm just going to read the chapter. So those of you, Jamie, for example, who want to read by yourself, feel free to mute me so you don't have to listen to my voice. That's fine. But if you want to follow along, here we go. Andy, my name is Dr. Carruthers. I'm glad you were able to come today. Are you comfortable? Yeah, I guess. Hey man, I ain't never seen no black shrink before. Well, here I am. I went to the University of Cincinnati for my undergraduate and master's degree, and I got my PhD from Yale. Man, I can't even pass chemistry. You must make a bunch of cash. Over $90 an hour. That's heavy, man. I'm impressed. You must be real smart. I can't even spell psychiatrist. I'm no smarter than you are, Andy. I struggled through high school. I worried about my math grades, and I always had trouble in English composition classes. But I kept going, and I found out that it wasn't impossible. In college, it got easier. Once I figured out that I was as capable as the next dude, maybe more so. And I'm a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. What's the difference? They make more money. No, just kidding. They can dispense medicine, and I don't. There's a couple of other differences, but that's basically it. And you think you can help me? Let's say that I'm going to try to help you help yourself. I'm no magician. That's fair. But I still don't think I need to be here, especially at almost $100 an hour. Who's paying for this anyway? Your dad's insurance, mostly. They feel it's worth it. Yeah, I guess they would. Now, we both know that your parents have requested this counseling for you, even though you say it's not necessary. They are very concerned that the automobile accident in which you were involved may have affected you more than you are aware. We know why they want you to be here. Why do you think you're here? 'Cause I'm depressed? I don't need a shrink, not even a smart black shrink. I'm fine. School is fine. Everything's just cool. Can I go now? I'll tell you what, Andy. If at the end of this hour you have convinced me that everything is really fine, you don't have to come back. Bet? Bet. Okay, take your time and just tell me what has happened in your life since that night. It doesn't have to make sense. Just let the thoughts come as they come. Talk to me, Andy. What we say here doesn't go out of these doors. That's a promise. You'll be surprised how much better you feel if you just talk about some of the jumbled up thoughts in your head. Well, if you say so. But I really am okay now. I have headaches sometimes, and I can't sleep some nights, but I feel a whole lot better than I did right after the accident. Well, how did you feel then? Like a piece of crap. Why? Because it was my fault that Rob died. Why do you say that? I was drinking. I was driving. Do you think Rob blames you? I don't know. Probably not. He was such a cool dude. He took everything real easy. Nothing hardly ever upset him. So maybe you're blaming yourself for something that Rob forgives you for. Maybe. I'm on page 44. Make sure you're following along. What was it like when you first went back to school? Most of my friends were very understanding, and most of my teachers were cool as teachers can get. They do have their limits, you know. Some of them smiled a lot. Most of them just kept piling on the homework like nothing had happened. None of them ever took the time to sit down and talk to me and ask me if I was having any problems. Except Coach Ripley. He's an okay dude. He's your basketball coach? Yeah, but like I said, I don't really care. I can take it. You can take what? Did you get any negative reactions from people at school? There were a few bad things that happened, like the note I found taped to my locker that said killer, and the kids who wouldn't look at me in the face. I never figured out if they were embarrassed or angry, but most people adjusted. How did you feel about that? The note on the locker. Do you think you're a killer? Nah, man, I ain't no killer. I never wanted to hurt nobody, but he's just as dead. What difference does it make? It makes a lot of difference, Andy. Don't you think Robbie knows that you didn't mean to hurt him? I don't know, man, and I sure can't ask Robbie, can I? Why not? Pretend I'm Rob. Ask me. You ain't Rob. I know that, and you know that, and even Rob knows that. But let's just try and see what happens. Ask Rob if he blames you. I'm sorry, Rob. How can I ever make you know how sorry I am? I know you are, Andy. It's okay, really. I don't blame you. Maybe all of this was meant to be. We can't always see the big picture, you know. Yeah, man. But it's rough. Hey, that's enough of this stupid pretending. Okay, that was great. Tell me about basketball. What's that been like for you without Rob? How do you know about me and basketball? You working from a script? No, Andy. In my initial interview with your parents, they shared with me what they thought was important to your life. Things like basketball. It was all very surface information. There's a lot about you that they don't really know. You ain't lying there, man. You could talk to them all day and never find out anything about me. Do you think your parents understand your problems? Heck no. Sometimes I think my parents ain't got no grip on reality. My mother lives in La La Land. Do you know that she still says Negro and refuses to call us black or African American? At least she doesn't say colored. She says that her skin is not black and never will be, and that she doesn't know anyone from Africa. Why should she change what has worked perfectly well all her life? I've given up trying to convert her. What kind of things is she interested in? She's active in her sorority activities, which to me seems kind of stupid. You got a bunch of black women, forgive me, mother, who graduated from college 25 years ago, who meet once a month to talk about the good old days. That reminds me, she keeps the station on her car radio set to one of those oldies stations. If I hear the Supremes one more time, I think I'll scream. Does she ever listen to your music? Be for real. Anyway, they plan meaningless activities like cotillions for girls like Rhonda and Keisha. She once asked me if I would like to be an escort for one of the girls. What did you say? I almost died. Me? Put on a tuxedo and dance the waltz with some pimply-faced girl whose major goal in life is to master the bass trombone? I don't think so. So me and my mom kind of stay out of each other's way. We don't dislike each other. We just don't think alike. What about your dad? My dad is another one who can't deal with the real world, although he doesn't think so. He's active in the Republican Party. Yes, I said Republican. Isn't that disgusting? If you say so. He's got a good job working at Procter & Gamble, where his main function, as far as I can tell, is kissing up to white people. He's the vice president of something or other. Some office they created when affirmative action was real popular. He's got a car phone and a fax machine. I guess he thinks he's got it made. But he doesn't make it to very many of the base... falling over my words. Let's see. But he doesn't make it to very many of the basketball games. Too busy or out of town, usually. Does that bother you? Yeah, sometimes. Do you think he realizes how that hurts you? Man, he hasn't got the slightest idea what I think about or care about. He once told me that he hoped I'd go into the business world with him when I finished college. But I plan to use my lips for kissing beautiful women, not the soles of some bald-headed white man's feet. You know, I can't even remember the last time he was in my room. He yells at me through the door every once in a while to turn my music down, but he never comes in. I wonder why. All right, we're on page 48. Why don't you ask him? Nah, man, I ask him a question and I get a lecture. I gave up asking him questions when I was 12 years old. It's easier that way. What about your little brother? Now you talking. The only one in my family who is really cool is my little brother, Monty. But I worry about him. I think when he gets to be my age, he's going to have a lot of problems. I know he's only 6, but he doesn't think black is cool. And he's got this thing for little girls with yellow hair. Yeah, I worry about that kid sometimes. Are your parents concerned? My parents are no help. They don't even know there is a problem, let alone how to solve it. Monty gets a lot of attention from them, though. More than they ever gave me. I'm not jealous, but I think they like him better. He's still cute and charming and hasn't started to be rebellious or misunderstood yet. Like you? Like me. So how's it going now that you're playing ball again? It was hard at first getting used to Rob's empty seat at school and going by his locker. But basketball, instead of being harder, got easier. It's like I could work out my feelings on the basketball court. The coach gave me his position, center. And how'd you feel about that? I felt proud, but I also felt a little guilty, because I never could have won that position from him. He was the best center that Hazelwood ever had. So why did you accept the position? I decided that he would have wanted me to have it, so I worked really hard, and I really improved my game. I'm averaging 17 points a game. That's good. Do you feel good or guilty when you have a good game? Probably a little of both. I'd say that's normal. Tell you what, Andy. Come back next week and let's talk about school, bet? If you say so. I thought I didn't have to come back. There's not too much to say about school anyway. Well, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more if that's okay with you. I really have enjoyed meeting you and talking with you. I'm looking forward to our next conversation. Later, man. All right, so that is page 49. We just finished that chapter, How Do I Feel? So go ahead and answer questions 1 through 5, and then when you're ready, we're going to pick it up with the next chapter. All right, so hopefully you've answered all 5 of those first questions. We're going to read the chapter called Girl Problems. As you can see, it's only 2 pages, pages 50 and 51, so super short. So here we go, and you have one question that you're trying to answer this time, and the question is, what about Andy is starting to get on Keisha's nerves? So we know Keisha is his girlfriend. So right now, with the way he's been acting, what does it say in this chapter is starting to get on Keisha's nerves about Andy? All right, and we know when there's 2 lines like that, it's people having a dialogue, which means characters are talking. All right, so obviously this is Andy and Keisha talking. Hi, Andy. You ready to go? If we don't hurry, we'll miss the bus. What I miss is my car. Look, you don't have practice, and you don't have a class or a session to go to today. It's kind of nice to just spend some time together. Hey, you look good, Keisha. How come you don't wear a dress more often? If I had known you'd notice, I'd wear them every day. Oh, I notice, sweet thing. I notice. You sure are in a good mood. What's up? I don't know. Somehow I feel like I can breathe today. Let's walk home. You crazy. You know it's 20 degrees out there and snowing. Okay. The woman has no sense of adventure. How about if we ride the bus out to the mall and catch a movie? We can go to the early show and still get home in time for dinner. I wish I could, Andy, but I have a chemistry test tomorrow. Plus, I gotta finish that composition for English class. It's gonna take me all night and then some to get everything done. Then I told my mother that I'd start dinner for her tonight because she has to work late. I just can't tonight, Andy. Can we go this weekend? Be like that, then. See if I care. All I ask for is a little bit of your time, and you want to get all righteous on me. I'll go to the movies by myself. Andy, you have that chemistry test tomorrow, too. Call me later, and we can go over some of the key stuff, okay? I gotta go. I don't have time to deal with your temper tantrums. Hey, I'm sorry, Keisha. I was just looking forward to spending time with you. It was your idea. But I was talking about right now. You want the whole night. I'm not mad, Andy, but you're starting to get on my nerves. Don't forget your chemistry book. I'll talk to you later. All right, so that's the end of their conversation. So make sure on your handout you need to answer question number 6. And then when we're ready, we're going to turn to page 52 and read the next one. All right, so on page 52, again, this is a super short chapter. It's only 2 pages again. This one is called School Blues. Overheard in the hall between classes, December 14th. So this is a couple days after he went to the psychologist. And we see those lines again, which means we have character dialogue. So we have people talking to each other. And they're at school because they're in the hallway between classes, it says. Hey, Gerald, what you got next bell? American history. Killer Killian's giving a test. And I don't know nothing about no Civil War, Andy. She's giving a test? Today? Yeah, Andy, I just remembered. You got your book? Nah, man, you out of luck. It's too late to study now anyway. I don't care if I get a D. That'll do. Hey, Tyrone, you catch Arsenio on TV last night? Sure did. Gerald, my man. It was just coming on when I got in from my job at Burger King. The ladies in that singing group he had on are so fine. For real. Did you read that story for English homework, Ty? Nah, man. Even if she gives a quiz, I'm cool. I sit next to Tiffany Brown, the smartest girl in the world. I hear you. I hope she has a class discussion. Then I can catch up on my sleep. No chance today, Andy. I heard she's giving out midterm notices in class today. I know she got one specially engraved for me. Oh no, so close to Christmas? Santa can just skate on by my house. I had my mama about ready to buy me that leather coat. Kiss it goodbye, Andini. Now, if you did your homework every once in a while, like my man Marcus over there, you could wear leather down to your underwear. Yeah, man, what can I say? I can't be doing all that. There's the bell. Let's raise up. Peace. All right. So, at the end of this chapter, you have to answer one question. It's question number 7, and it says, how is Andy doing as far as school is concerned? Look for textual evidence. So, what does it say in this chapter about him in school? And I want you to quote one thing from this chapter and then explain how that talks about how he's doing in school. All right, you guys, so shake it out. You're doing really well. Like I said, we're reading a lot today. So this is the last chapter we're going to read today, and it starts on page 54. All right, so this one is called Ferocious Frustration. Andy's second visit with the psychologist, December 17th. So now he's returned to the psychologist, and you have 3 questions about this chapter to answer. Okay, so feel free to look those over real fast before we jump in. But this chapter is page 54 to 60, so I'm going to get started and just follow along with me. But again, we see those 2 talking lines, which means people are talking. And obviously he's at the psychologist's office again, so it's just him and his psychologist discussing, all right? But it's at least been a week since he was here last, right? All right, here we go. Hello again, Andy. How have you been? Not bad. Just hanging in there. Making it to school every day? Yeah, I get there. I don't do much while I'm there. All I look forward to is basketball practice. Your grades slipping? You know those giant slides they have at the swimming pool? That's my grades. But then my grades were never that great to start with. My parents were always yelling at me to improve my grades because I'll never get into college. But then my parents yell at me all the time. Do you feel much pressure from your parents? Yeah, lately. Since I've been getting closer to college, they always be on my back. Does that bother you? Yeah, it does. Sometimes I really do try hard, but it seems like my brain freezes over or something. I just can't learn some of that stuff, and my parents just don't understand that. They want me to be this straight-A superstar, and I just can't do that. Do you feel like their expectations are too high? I don't know. My friend Gerald, his dad beats him. He's got this big scar on his face from when he had to get stitches when his dad knocked him against a radiator. My parents don't beat me, but they don't understand me either. What is it that they don't understand? It's hard to put into words. There's this kid in my class named Marcus who always makes good grades. We call him the curve buster. All the other brothers in class be making C's and D's. My man Marcus be pulling A's on a regular basis. Instead of that making him popular, we all hate him. Why do you think that's true? because he's doing something that all our parents have told us we could do, but somehow we just can't. It's like easier to just make do and get by. I like getting good grades, but my friends talk about me if I get called up to the front on awards day with all the white kids. It's easier to sit in the back of the auditorium and laugh and make hooting noises when people like Mary Alice Applesapple go up to get their honor roll awards. What do you think your dad would think of kids like Marcus or Mary Alice? He'd probably want me to marry the girl, and I'd get a big speech about Marcus and how black youngsters need to achieve and how we got to work so hard to show ourselves better than the white students. I've heard it 1,000,000 times. But your dad's speeches don't have any meaning to you? Look, when my dad was 17, he was already out of school and working full-time in the mailroom of Procter & Gamble. He didn't have to worry about getting into college because the chance wasn't there. And he didn't have to worry about scholarships or stupid school counselors or just plain feeling useless. I bet he had his share of feeling useless. Have you ever talked to him about it? Nah, man. My dad don't talk. He lectures. He preaches. He yells. But we don't ever just talk. What about your counselors at school? Are they any help? If I remember when I was in high school, the counselor was there to help kids out who had academic problems or problems at home. You had counselors who would talk to black students and see their point of view and help them out? No, you're right. It was probably even worse when I was back in school. I just happened to be fortunate enough to find a lady who recognized a spark in me and gave me some direction. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was like back then, but all my counselor be doing is making up schedules and calling people out of class as far as I can tell. We got 1 or 2 that maybe I could talk to, but they're assigned to another grade level. I'm stuck with the one I got. Have you ever talked to your counselor? Yeah, once I did. It was a waste of time. I went to see her about graduation requirements and that kind of stuff. She's this wrinkled old bat with bad breath, so kids avoid her. I tried to sit downwind of her breath, but it was right after lunch and she kept burping little bursts of garlic. It was really gross. So I was trying to get out of there as quick as possible, and she's giving me this speech about career goals. So I happened to mention that I might like to go into pre-law. She looked at me like I said I want to see her with her pants down. She said someone with my athletic potential shouldn't be trying to make his college career too complicated. She said, why don't you major in PE? Enjoy your college years, then maybe come back here in a few years and teach gym. She said pre-law was too demanding, and that I couldn't afford to miss all those classes while we were on the road playing basketball, and that my grades would slip and I probably wouldn't get accepted into law school anyway. Now, I have nothing against gym teachers, but I've always liked LA Law and even Perry Mason. But after talking to her, I felt like, kind of useless. So what difference does it make if I get good grades or not? I think it does make a difference, Andy. Otherwise, this wouldn't have bothered you so much. It's like the system is set up so you don't succeed. I know. I've been there. Yeah, man, but you survived. And so can you, Andy. I never liked school all that much anyway. I like gym, and I like lunch, and I even like history. But don't tell my history teacher that. I got her fooled. She thinks I'm not paying attention. But I could tell her every wife of Henry VIII what he did to each one and why. But she never asks. Why do you think she never calls on you? I don't know. I guess she assumes I'm another stupid black kid. So it's easier to pretend to be stupid than to be bothered with all that grade grubbing that the white kids do. Lots of white kids, and some of the white teachers too, think all of us are sort of dumb. They don't say it, but they do. The teachers ask us easier questions, if they ask us anything at all, and they expect dumb answers. So I just give them what they want. What do you think would happen if you did volunteer to answer the questions correctly? I even tried that. It don't make no difference. Do you know that once I got an A on a test in advanced math, and when the teacher gave it back the papers, she said, Irvin got an A as usual, and Ching Lee got an A as usual, and oh my goodness, even Andy got an A this week. I must be slipping. My tests are getting too easy if Andy can get an A on them, or maybe he cheated. Everybody chuckled, but I was boiling mad. How come I can't ever get praise for good grades? How come me getting an A on a test is something that class should laugh at? Do you find this frustration from teachers of both races? Even some of the black teachers treat us wrong. They be grinning in the faces of those little white girls saying stuff like, "That's wonderful, Mary Alice. You did a marvelous job on the project." Then they say stuff to me like, "That's good, Andy, but couldn't you improve this part or enhance that section?" No matter what I do, it's never good enough. So why bother? Are good grades important to you, Andy? Yeah, I guess. Why? Because good grades make my father shut up and my mother to smile a lot. She's good at that, smiling, just like my dad is good at yelling. What about you? Do you care? Not really. I just want to have fun. Are you having fun, Andy? Not much these days. Our time is almost up. Let's get together after Christmas holidays and talk about how you managed. Whatever you say. Look, man, I gotta get going anyway. I promised Keisha that I'd go to the mall with her so she can finish her Christmas shopping. I don't know what it is with girls and malls. Now, that's a problem I can't help you with. And you call yourself a professional. Seriously, Andy, I want you to call me at any time if you need me, you hear? I hear you. I guess I should say Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you too, Andy. Take care. Peace, ma'am. Later. All right, you guys. So that finishes on page 60. We're done reading for the day, but what I need you to do is you have 3 questions right here at the bottom to answer for that chapter. So number 8, how does Andy describe his grades? I want you to find the actual thing he says and write the quote down. Number 9, what is Andy's career goal? What did he say he's interested in becoming one day out when he's grown up? And 10, why do the kids at school hate Marcus? Who is that kid Marcus he was talking about, and why do people hate him? Then, the last thing I want you to do, and this is not on your handout, so I'm going to know if you watch this video or not, all of you. All right, so what I want you to do is take your handout, flip it around, and I just want you to write a personal reflection about the chapter we just read. He said a lot of stuff about feeling like kids at school don't expect him to be smart or be able to do things. He had a lot of issues with teachers that he felt like thought all the black kids in class were stupid, and so they would ask them easier questions compared to the white students. I want you to really think, have you ever felt like that in school? Either because of your skin color or because of your age or because of the fact that we have IEPs and different ways that we all learn. Have you ever felt like another classmate or a teacher or a counselor thought that you were stupid? And if so, explain how and like how that made you feel. And if not, explain again how you feel in class in general. Like, do you feel like all your teachers have high expectations for you? Do your classmates, are they excited when you get awards on award to say, or do they kind of do what Andy's friends did and like make fun of him if he gets an award? So just like a really short reflection, at least a couple sentences, but that's how I'm going to know that you watched this video all the way to the end. All right. So you guys have a wonderful 3-day weekend. I hope you get lots of sleep. That's what I'm going to be doing. And I will see you guys on Tuesday. Okay. Bye, guys.